As you can see on the text on screen, there is a certain word, and I am saying it because it is in the title of the movie. The American Society of Magical Negroes is a kind of a rom-com film, sort of. Why don't I explain what a magical Negro is? Here, let's take a look over to Wikipedia. The magical Negro is a trope in American cinema, television, and literature. In the cinema of the United States, the magical Negro is a supporting stock character who comes to the aid of white protagonists in a film. Magical Negro characters, often possessing special insight or mystical powers, have long been a tradition in American fiction. The old-fashioned word Negro is used to imply that a magical black character who devotes himself to selflessly helping whites is a throwback to racist stereotypes such as the Sambo or noble savage. And it cites examples like The Green Mile and The Legend of Bagger Vance. And this film actually, deliberately parodies those. So the idea is that this American society, it's a group of African Americans who have magic abilities that they use to basically appease white discomfort. Anytime somebody white is getting too discomforted, they magic in one of these people to go in and basically give them some old-fashioned folksy advice, with that good old, inoffensive and non-threatening charm. And the concept is deliberately feeling very backwards because this film is a critique of this trope. And I was worried seeing the trailers because it's presented as a rom-com. The main character, he gets inducted into the society, that I was worried that it was going to be focused a little bit too much on the rom-com elements, because the idea is once you have a client, the white person who needs their white discomfort to be lowered to acceptable levels, once you have that client, you can't put your needs before that client. One of the big parts of the magical Negro archetype is that they are there completely subservient to the white person. They don't have their own story. They're just part of the white person's story. They're just there to help the white person along. So when he falls in love with a girl at his work, with the guy that, he's supposed to be the client for, and then he starts getting interested in her as well, he can't pursue this girl anymore, because if you use your magic to put your own needs ahead of your clients, that can cause the magic to fail for the entire society, because it's a collective thing. Because the idea is that them being one of the good ones to, make white people feel more comfortable only works if they're all doing it. And if they stop doing it, then the whole thing collapses like a house of cards. The idea is, and in fact, at one point, the magic starts to fail for a bunch of them, and so they get summoned back to headquarters, and they find out that one of their members had berated her colleague at a lab because he hadn't read a foundational text, and she's like, well, maybe you should read it. And oh, you yelled at him, yeah, you broke the rules, you are now doomed to the worst fate imaginable, being a black woman in America without the protection of having the magic. But it also doesn't make sense because they deliberately, like I said, here we've got the Green Mile as an example. They have a reference to the Green Mile. When he joins the society, they have these magical candles that show memories of different events. And so they have one that just completely parodies how the Green Mile played out, where in that movie, John Coffey was the magical Negro character, and he's on death row, and but he has magical abilities, but he gets executed at the end. And in this movie, he's being walked to the execution chair, and he's still given all this wise sage advice for the prison guard and everything, which doesn't gel with the fact that they're saying that they're doing this to protect themselves, and that by being in this society, they are safe from white aggression, because that guy gets executed. So that is that's a plot hole, pretty big one in it. I don't know if maybe maybe that was deliberate to show that even though they think that they're safe, they really aren't, or Honestly, I think more so it was probably just we wanted to make fun of the Green Mile in this one. Anyway, let me move this away. There's, I think, a really nice moment of catharsis at the end of the film when he decides to, you know, stop being subservient to the white man, to like advocate for his own wants and needs, because he gets recruited to this society to begin with because he's like an artist and he's at an art exhibition, but he like is kind of like a wallflower the whole time, and he works very hard to keep himself small. He apologizes every time he gets in somebody's way, and his mentor, played by David Allen Greer, I think, he's a waiter at the event, and he sees him and he's just like, oh, this guy is spending his entire life navigating white discomfort. He's perfect for the society. But yeah, once he decides to put his own needs first, decide, you know what, no, I want this girl, and he's working at like some tech company that's like Facebook or something like that, and they're trying to do a big diversity push because they recently had a software push that made the entire nation of Ghana unable to access their website because it uses like facial biometrics, and the team that had coded that hadn't had any black people on the team. And so, and like they basically tell him that the only reason he's part of this presentation is because they need the diversity, and he confronts the guy on it, and they have like a big argument while it's being broadcast to the entire company because they're presenting the new products to the company. Like you can tell a lot. I mean, this is a black made film. You can tell a lot of the grievances and the anxieties and just, you know, the frustrations with having to put white needs before your own really comes out. It's a pretty cathartic moment. But there was a really interesting thing, because once he starts confronting the guy, because the guy told him, "You're here because we need the diversity," he walks up to him on stage. Is like, "I didn't like that. I didn't like that I'm only here as a diversity guy." And the guy responds, "What? No, I'm not racist. I don't have a racist bone in my body. I have never done anything racist. Ask anyone. I'm not racist." He's like, "I don't care about that. I don't care if you're racist. I'm not talking about you. I'm talking about me. I'm talking about how I felt." So like this isn't about you at the moment. This is about me. And that was a really, I liked that. That was a really interesting moment where, like, yeah, when people are confronted with racist things that they have done, their first thing is to be like, "Oh, I'm not racist. I have black friends," rather than listening to what the actual like complaint is, what the actual like. You're not listening to the feelings of the person who is aggrieved. You're concerned so much with defending yourself that you're not like actually listening to the other person as a human being, which I thought that was interesting. There's some weird stuff with the whole romance subplot, and it's not as much of a laugh out loud comedy as I would have thought from the trailer. But you know, it is like the film is secondarily a comedy and primarily just a comment on just racial relationships in America and, you know, deconstructing this trope. Would I recommend it? Maybe. I honestly, like, if anything that I have said about this movie to you makes it sound interesting to you, then yeah, go for it. But maybe if you're white and what I've talked about makes you feel discomforted, then probably go see it. But otherwise, I don't know. I was worried it was going to be a little bit too libby in its presentation, and it kind of is. There's something more to it than that, but I thought the film could have gone harder. Hey, thanks for watching. Your view means a lot. Don't forget to toss me a like and subscribe and ring the bell. And drop a comment below telling me what you thought of the video. I stream Mondays and Fridays at 5 p.m. Pacific, so catch me live and join in on the convo. You can find all my socials in the description below, and thank you to all my patrons, with a very special shout out to my Whale Shark tier patrons Ryan D and James Knight, and my Anemone Friend tier patron Piftle Cakes. Your support means the world. Catch you next time.